covering every county. This is your statewide newscast. Arkansas Today.
The White House set to host a ceremonial swearing-in of Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Good afternoon, I'm Mallory Brooks.
And I am Aaron Nolan. Justice Kavanaugh was confirmed by the narrowest of margins over the weekend. Kristen Welker has more on how Democrats and Republicans are trying to use this controversy to win votes in a month for the elections.
This morning, Brett Kavanaugh is now Justice Kavanaugh, sworn in over the weekend in a private ceremony with his hand on a family Bible. As demonstrators on both sides descended on the nation's capital. Inside the Senate chamber Saturday, the vote for Kavanaugh interrupted again.
The Sergeant at Arms will restore.
And again.
Clerk will suspend.
Kavanaugh was confirmed 50-48, the slimmest margin in more than 100 years.
The nomination of Brett M. Kavanaugh of Maryland to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.
For President Trump, it is a monumental win.
I stand before you today on the heels of a tremendous victory for our nation, our people, and our beloved Constitution.
The victory capping a strong week for Mr. Trump, who struck a new trade deal with Mexico and Canada and saw the unemployment rate drop to 3.7%, its lowest in nearly 50 years, using all of it as leverage to energize Republicans in the upcoming midterms.
On November 6th, you will have the chance to stop the radical Democrats.
But Democrats are fired up and firing back.
I've said to the women who are justifiably angry but determined, and I said they should be just focused like a laser beam on the elections.
For moderate Republican Senator Susan Collins, who delivered the decisive yes vote, sticking with her party could have real consequences. She was pressed on 60 Minutes about Christine Blasey Ford's allegations of sexual assault against Kavanaugh, which he denies.
And I believed that a sexual assault had happened to her. What I think she's mistaken about is who the perpetrator was. I do not believe her assailant was Brett Kavanaugh.
While North Dakota Democrat Heidi Heitkamp's no vote could cost her her seat next month, acknowledging voting yes would have been safer.
This isn't about politics. This is about a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court.
And that was Kristen Welker reporting. Overnight, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi pushing to make that FBI investigation public, writing Kavanaugh's confirmation has wounded the very soul of justice in our country.
Back here locally, 330 beers swiped from a grocery store in Garland County. Now deputies are looking for whoever stole it. Saturday afternoon, the thief got away with 30 packs of beer from this Harp store. If you have any information, you see somebody with a whole lot of beer, call the Garland County Sheriff's Office.
Heavy winds blew right through Siloam Springs, causing damage. At around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, a thunderstorm rolled into Siloam Springs. A family on Sherry Whitlock Drive says a tree fell in their yard right where a pool had been before it was recently taken down. The ladder still in the yard.
It's like the poor trees, because they're like blowing back and forth about to fall, and then I just see like a gigantic tree branch fall. I thought it was going to hit the house, but it didn't. It just broke the fence.
This unexpected damage coming just hours before the sun came out, but with no injuries, it could have been a lot worse.
Arkansas Public Schools being nationally recognized for their ability to connect to the web. Education Superhighways, a nonprofit that promotes internet connectivity in public schools. Students in almost 100% of Arkansas school districts have access to internet speeds of 1 megabit per second.
And programs, the more time goes on, they get more complicated, and the more bandwidth it takes to run them.
Well, I'm currently enrolled in both a computer security class of the coding aspect of it through Virtual Arkansas. I'm also taking college algebra through Arkansas Tech Online.
Over the past 4 years, Arkansas partnered with 21 service providers to upgrade its networks by replacing copper connections with fiber.
Well, happening today, Americans across the country are enjoying a long weekend at parades celebrating the discovery of the New World. President Trump heads to Orlando, Florida. The commander-in-chief will address the International Association of Chiefs of Police for the final day of their conference. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visits China to wrap up his trip to Asia. He meets with counterparts to discuss many worldly issues, with the focus remaining on a denuclearized North Korea. And Meghan McCain returns to The View. She's making her debut on the morning talk show after a break following her father's death.
Let's take a look back in history. How about 1871? The big fire in Chicago, killing about 300 people, leaving thousands homeless. It's now known as the Great Chicago Fire. 20 years ago today, the House of Representatives votes to continue their impeachment investigations of President Bill Clinton. The trial did not officially begin until December of 1998.